Hey Matt, what's up? I'll read your comment right after this lap.
That sounds good. I just had like a frozen dinner, nothing special. Always a bonus. One thing I'm not very good at this game are time trial things. I remember Charlie the Unicorn, but I don't know anything beyond that. And the turn is tough. Well, it's at least under a second, I guess. That's destroyed my time right there. Thank goodness. Alright, let me see. Sorry for the delay. A skateboarding action film. That sounds interesting. I have a second cousin that's actually a filmmaker, and he started out making skateboarding videos. I might have saw that now that you said it's him. I might check it out. As long as they're not too obnoxious with the commercials. I have so many streaming services, they might have it on there too. Like these smart TVs have all these random streaming services built into it. Usually, like any movie I can think of is at least on one of them. Yeah, that's how my filmmaker cousin and I bonded a little bit. We both liked obscure films. I think early on it was like video game stuff. I haven't seen him in years though. But he actually managed to have some of his stuff play in theaters, which is pretty cool. Not necessarily things I would be into, but it's cool he has an audience and everything. Yeah, his family, both his mom and dad are like into like the arts, so it kind of made sense. Because then his brother's in the theater as well. Well, he was. I don't know what he's doing now. I haven't kept up with anybody. After my grandmother passed away, we kind of like lost touch with that side of the family. And Facebook has pretty much become obsolete unless it's like the older members of your family. That's what happens sometimes. put a lot of stuff on hold for similar events. Just don't let it take too much time away if you're really serious about it, because it's easy to get lost in time, and then you realize like a month becomes like 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. Okay, what's next? What car is compatible? All I need to know. Please don't make me need to get a license. I hate taking license tests. Um, alright, so I can drive that car. Yeah. Let me just see what cars are available for this particular race. Quite a few. I guess I'll take this one. I'll just go with default. This thing's fastest. I don't know what. Those turns are gonna be tough. Alright, let's try it. Couldn't imagine racing a car this nice and risking any damage to it. I wish I had those jacks that the Mach 5 has so I could just jump over these cars. Remember I saw like that Speed Racer movie in the movie theater and being confused about what I had just saw? Yeah, Matt. I saw the question post right after I said the comment about seeing it. Yeah, I have the original cartoon on Blu-ray. It's super clean looking. I might have to do this again. I never saw anything that told me to hold the brakes on for that long. Is that the red car from the movie Cars? I went on a date to go see Speed Racer. What a weird movie to go to. Might have to get another car. I'm not sure how I feel about this one on this track. Thing wants me to come to like a complete stop. Alright, let's exit. I don't need your stinking money. Let's change cars. Yeah, I couldn't afford it in real life. Probably couldn't afford one of these shitty cars in the game in real life. Yes, I'm going to retire. I have no idea, Aaron. There are just too many to choose from. I haven't even played as all of them. There's hundreds of cars in this game. Right. Yeah, I would. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I do seem to use the Lancer a lot in this game to win a lot of things. Even though it wouldn't be a car I would personally pick in real life. They divide like the Batmobile and Batman Returns when it tries to go in that small alley, and then eventually grows into like a new car. That's what I'm guessing anyway. Probably with the same non-existent results. But let's expect the worst and hope for the best. There's probably someone who knows the lore. They read it in some rare novel that was based on the movie. It slid through the cracks. I'm not even sure if I saw the second Cars movie, let alone Cars 3. I remember just watching the first one. That's what you think. This controls a little bit more like a car from Ridge Racer. That's probably my favorite racing game on PlayStation 1. That would make sense in a world where cars didn't talk and actually have mouths and stuff like that and eyes that actually work. You took my car idea. I don't appreciate that. Glad he's driving it significantly slower than I am. Not sure. I'm just not sure. But I'd be lying if I were to say I was an expert on these things. I have like the most generic profiles for these players. It's like portraits of people that would be like in your insurance paperwork. They give you like envelopes of like what you're planning on doing. They have like pictures of people being happy and healthy. I don't think I'm gonna get first place. The car's probably gonna be way faster than me. I'm taking these turns as shitty as I possibly can. I don't think this car is meant for off-road. This is a Forza Horizon at least. I have no idea, Aaron. These are questions you'll have to take up with the gecko. If it was Ridge Racer, I could unrealistically drift or even Need for Speed. I'm not good as those people that like you see videos of them like driving the mountains in Japan. They're somehow not going off the cliffs. All right, Matt, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Well, this is the final stretch, I think. Usually it is when it gets to that really hard, difficult turn. Yeah, I wish I had one. They're like $400, $500 and cost as much as the PlayStation itself. But if I was rich, I'd have one. I need a decent table for it, but it'd be so much fun because I actually have force feedback and fight against you. It'd be cool to learn how to drive a stick shift with it too. Never really mastered that. Thanks, Aaron. I try. Sometimes, anyway. Watch this nice replay. The graphics are so nice when this game does replays. Forza Horizon could have the potential of having a nice replay, but they don't switch the cameras automatically. I wish they would. Otherwise, I'd watch the replays in Forza 5. I've been playing that a lot recently. I've been enjoying it. Yeah, I have a whole stream of Mario Kart. If you go to my playlist on my live streams, you can find it. I think it's like 2 hours with their Mario Kart on the Switch. I have no idea. Just say that I have no idea because there's too many to count. I've been game collecting for like somewhat my whole life, but especially for PS4 to PS5 for like over 10 years now, so they've accumulated over time. I don't play it traditionally, but I do like to build stuff in it sometimes, but I don't play like the mode where you actually have to try to survive. I think it's called survival mode. Sometimes when I'm bored, I'll build stuff in it, like maybe a house or something I used to live in. Try to relive memories, but I don't play it like traditional at all. It's kind of like when I'm bored. It's just like having Legos sometimes. I didn't really grow up with it, so I'm not like super hardcore about it or anything. All right, you too, Aaron. Thank you. No, I was getting lost watching it like it was a real race. Same here. That's why I just started enjoying watching the race. Sometimes you just gotta have your own fun. Also have like my own playlist playing in my ear at the same time. So it's super chill right now. It's cool they let you stream Spotify at the same time. Yeah, because I'm pretty much listening to my music as if like I put in my own CDs or have my own iPhone hooked up to my radio. Hey, Legend. Yeah, lately racing games have been really chill for me because of that. That's been my go-to these days. Yeah, I used to like Need for Speed on PlayStation 3 because it let you like rip your own music from CDs and make a custom soundtrack. And I used to just cruise around the track listening to my own music. As long as you're having fun, what difference does it make? Yeah, use all my flares. I thought that's what they were telling me to do, and then when I actually needed them, I didn't have any. Eventually got past it by like just tapping the flashlight nonstop. People are probably watching it just for the racing, wondering what the hell I'm talking about. You probably enjoy that, Legend. I'd almost suggest part two to start with. That's the one that won most people over. I don't know if people remember the first Uncharted really wasn't a hit until the second game came out. That's the one that really, I guess, like made it feel like what people consider peak Uncharted. Most people that are fans of the series always compare everything to Uncharted 2 because a lot of people feel like that's the best one. Yeah, I think 4 to me is the most like refined control wise, mechanic wise, graphic wise. But I just go by what the average person says. I'm with you. I like 4 the best, especially when I went back and replayed them all. So it's not like I'm just speaking from memory. I've finished them recently. Also finished them on PlayStation 3, but recently I finished them on that remaster collection. Yeah, I think some people automatically hate it because the director of Last of Us took over, which is whatever. I don't think it takes away from the game. I feel like if that was the last one, that was a hell of a conclusion. Yeah, yeah, I would probably start in order. I mean, that's how I played them. I played them as they came out. I don't know if I've ever even driven a truck in this game yet. So many damn cars in this game. Come on, I have a good chance of getting a car. Oh, it's something I don't really want. Yeah, the mechanics are updated closer to Uncharted 2 if you play the remaster collection. If you go back to the PlayStation 3 version, it's going to feel a little bit different. Yeah, he's already played those games. I think he played like one definitive edition, and I don't know if he played any of the other ones. I definitely remember you playing one definitive edition. I think the new one's going to be good, but I think people are going to complain automatically just because it is an open world before they even play it, because that's how people are. Well, that takes care of that. I can't do this one until I get a truck. I think they gift me one of these cars. I wish I knew more about cars. I just go by whatever has the highest points. Yeah, I feel like I've been driving that in in Forza Horizon as well, or one of the Porsches. I like how Cyberpunk actually has a licensed Porsche, even though it's like a made up car. I think it's one of the better looking cars in the game. Um, I might have to get a used car here. There's not a single used truck. Gotta buy a new one. Can't believe we haven't collected a truck over all this time. It's one of the ones I needed too. Well, that's two birds with one stone. Hopefully, I can race with this one. I gotta soup it up though. I don't know if you mean bad as in good bad or bad bad. Yes, I need this. I like the little movies they have. Yeah, I'm gonna try to mod it until I run out of money. Shouldn't though. It was just the only like brand that I knew that made trucks offhand because I don't know that much about cars. Despite playing racing games, I feel like that's been a fairly new thing though. Like growing up, I didn't play them that much. All right, let's try to make this faster than it was ever meant to go. Whenever I see an air filter, it makes me think of Jiffy Lube and how they always try to sell me one. Why not? Since we're here. I hope so. I don't think I can make it go any faster unless I can unlock Ultimate. Curious what's going to sound like. haven't driven them too much. So far, it feels good. I like how it has some weight to it. Welcome to Texaco, home of the star. Makes you think of Back to the Future Part 2. They go to the future. Yeah. I think there might be more options. I think I have it set on a mode where it's more accessible. Just because I'm not a gearhead, I don't know a lot about that end of things. Yeah, they control really nice so far. As far as the handling goes, a lot of these heavier vehicles go nuts when you try to do tight turns. Feels like almost like how Flight Simulator feels. It's so smooth. I will say one thing that's improved in this game beyond the graphics is the sound design. Yeah, I'd say so if you have a fast enough vehicle. This one seems to do pretty good on it. I don't know how it would do with like on a track with like different kinds of cars though. I might have one. Yeah, I think it's really cool how all these tracks are based on tracks in real life. I guess that's same with the cars as well. One thing I like about the newer games is you actually can see the interiors. Yeah. They had good sound design. They should have like the sounds of the frame rattling, like it's gonna explode or something. Did a really good job of replicating how light hits the paint on these cars. Coming off of Forza Horizon, that's something I noticed different in this game versus that game is how good the paint looks in this game. I got everything already. Nice. That car looks expensive. Yeah, it looks like something I'd see like at the store and like in a Hot Wheels package or something. Yeah, it looks like it'd be expensive. I feel like I've seen a lot of toys of it. Must be a popular design. Maybe that's why. It looks cool too. I'll be right back. I need to use the restroom. Okay, back. I guess we gotta go back to the cafe. Could have sworn there's another race I was supposed to do. Yeah, there was a Suzuki car in this game I really liked. Yeah, that's what I usually do is just get a car and just mod the shit out of it in this game. I love that this game actually has interiors. I remember like back on the PlayStation 2, they had like a silhouette of the dashboard. I'm glad everything's so detailed now. It looks really nice. I feel like Forza kind of started that. Just gonna win like 5 coins. Uh, that's decent. Well, not that decent. But yeah, wouldn't mind having any of the cars in this game, to be honest. Yeah, once I got used to it, I think I'd really like it. Seems like you'd be pretty high up. I used to drive a truck sometimes. I didn't like it. Yeah, I'm sure. It felt like I was like flying a jet. Like I said, it felt more like playing Flight Simulator. So smooth. A lot of the cars, when you drive them, they feel like if you jerk the wheel too much, it's going to go out of control. Yeah, it seems really good. That's really pretty. Man, they did a really good job with like the lights and everything, the textures, and like the light actually emitting from it. It looks so good. I imagine it looks even better if you're a car person. Be a tough choice. Probably skip the Ford Focus though. It sounds stupid, but I kind of like how this game has like an educational aspect to it. Yeah, as long as we don't have to pay insurance and stuff on it. I want normal insurance rates for those fancy cars. I guess Chevrolet was only the natural next thing to do. Oh, I think I have a Camaro, so I might be able to start early. Might not have to buy anything. I should be getting one just by doing this. Says a 69 convertible, a C7. I should get in the ZR dash one, the 89 version. All right, let's get these Corvettes. I'm not even sure if I own one. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to change vehicles. For somebody who doesn't play a ton of racing games, I really enjoyed this one. Let's see what I have. Um, that's quite a bit of choices. Yeah, it's kind of funny when you see like generic cars smoking like really expensive ones. Let's see. Hmm. Let's see if I can upgrade this any. If I win these races, I think I get those Corvettes. Yeah, yeah. Can I change the color? I think it said it was good, but might as well put oil in it. It's a satisfying little video. Feel like I accomplished something. What was that thing I just bought? Swear I had more colors. I'll just pick this one. This might have been it. Good enough. I think so. But I'm gonna try to win these races first. I don't want to get lost in the menus trying to figure out everything. I don't even know if this paint job's gonna stick. Yes. Gonna look like a bass boat. Oh, it looks like it saved it. I hope so. I hope so. I spent enough money on it. I should not be compatible. Yes, I can drive it. What are we, out in the middle of the ocean? No, I see land. The paint job looks kind of cool, at least in video game form. Yeah, safe to say this car seems pretty fast. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of terrifying. I could not do this in real life, I don't think. Yeah, you think you'd hear the panels like trying to rip itself apart right now. I never want to drive this fast. Oh shit. Yeah. We might be breaking the laws of physics here. Feels like I'm playing Wipeout right now. I like the scenery in this game. It's really tranquil. Please don't F it up last minute. That was fast. Give me my money. I gotta pay for all the parts I used in that car. Fancy. Man, that paint looks really nice. Yeah, that's why I souped up this car. I wanted those Corvettes. Next tracks will have a lot more turns in them. Hopefully that'll all go well. Yeah, so far this car was nice to drive. I wouldn't mind having that. But like I said, I probably wouldn't mind having any car in this game. I would never want to drive it nearly that fast. But it seems like a nice car. Feels like it's really heavy and hugs the road really well. Hopefully that'll be helpful with the next couple of tracks. Even since the PlayStation 1 days, Gran Turismo had like the best replays. I remember looking at those old 32-bit pixelated graphics, thinking how real they looked. And again, I'm not a car person. I remember renting that game because it was just graphically impressive. I do remember feeling like over time they felt really sterile. Like everything felt super clean, but I don't know. I've gotten used to it over time as its unique thing. I think it looks cool, like a museum piece. All right, let's try those other tracks. This game reminds me of something that would be like interactive in the Smithsonian. All right. Yeah, they almost look real. All right, this is still our best bet. It's half of the appeal sometimes. It's been one of my favorite games to play when I can't think of other things to play and I just want to chill. It just hits the spot usually. Plus, you have that replay like in between each race to give you a break. It's like watching a little movie. I'd really like them to make like a new Ridge Racer game. That used to be my favorite. And then it became Need for Speed. But over time, I've really grown to like the Gran Turismo games. I know a lot of people don't like this one as much, but I've really enjoyed it. I also like the Forza Horizon games, but I think I like this one the best as far as a comfort game. Yeah, I'm gonna drive like it's the apocalypse. I don't care. I need to win. Oh, go-kart track part. I hate those rules. I looked away. Good thing I'm not driving in real life. Damn it, I just looked to see what place I was in. But this game be awesome in VR. Like, even if you didn't like the game, I'm sure that part would be pretty cool. Just to be able to feel like you're driving these expensive cars. Yeah, that'd be so cool if you had the steering wheel and stuff. Like that special like chair they have that's built for it. Would never need to leave the house. Oh, fuck. That's what happens sometimes. Damn you for focus. Come on, Kit, get the hell out of my way. Who thought this part of the track was a good idea? Yeah, I remember renting it and playing it just for the replays. Got it from the Blockbuster they had just recently built. Man, I have so many memories going there. No, no anything nostalgic anymore. Except stories about it. Yeah, the mall definitely doesn't have the same feeling that it used to. And we only have one functional mall. And it just isn't the same. Like when I was a kid, going to the mall almost felt like going to like an amusement park or something. Dang it, right at the same fucking spot, too. Yeah. The mall near us has a Spencer's, too. But like on the weekends, it was like a place to hang out with your friends and shit. But I'm also not young anymore. I fucked this whole thing up. Yeah. We used to have a Radio Shack in our strip mall, so I never needed to go to the one in the actual mall. Like there's a Radio Shack right beside the supermarket. Right beside our Kroger. Yeah. I remember getting like speaker cables for my car from there. Also, we used to get our cell phones through Radio Shack. They had some plan with AT&T that was cheaper. Also, like RC cars from there were pretty popular. They had what you needed in a pinch. I think Best Buy kind of made Radio Shack irrelevant, though. I was sad, though, when they closed. It's still way more convenient than Best Buy. I remember needing thermal paste for my PS3 CPU because I was redoing it in a pinch. Radio Shack had it. Like not many other places would have it. Yeah, Circuit City was also pretty decent too. I know some people have mixed feelings about Circuit City, but I used to like going there. He's doing some Ridge Racer shit. Yeah, I also remember them having pretty good music and DVD collection versus Best Buy. Often, if I couldn't find something, I'd go to Circuit City and be able to find it. I know of it. I never went in there. Damn go-kart turns. I'll read your message in a second. If I look away, I'll do this race again if I don't screw it up already. I think I might have screwed it up already. Shit. Let me see what you wrote. I know of Borders. I don't think they had it near me, but they definitely had it in my area. I just never went. I think I knew someone that was like a manager there back in the day or something. Basically, now Barnes and Noble has most of the physical media if I need it, and they don't. Their selection is limited and expensive. But we have Walmart, but they've been really shrinking theirs here at least. I've been having to get everything off of Amazon. That screams 80s. Looks like something from Outrun. We had KB Toys. Used to love KB Toys. We got to go to KB Toys way more than Toys R Us. KB Toys was like a compromise. But they didn't have as much stuff because they were smaller and they were more expensive. My parents would try to avoid going to Toys R Us. Toys R Us, it'd usually have to be a birthday or Christmas. Going to Toys R Us was a pretty big deal. Yeah. I only remember KB Toys. We might have had it at a different mall. I wonder if it's different based on mall. Like maybe the KB Toys near us was expensive because the mall rent it was expensive there. Toys R Us always had really good deals on video games. I used to love during the PlayStation 1 era, they used to have like a $20 section. They had so many good games, and a lot of them now are rare and really expensive that they had in a $20 section. I kick myself for not getting some of them. But admittedly, when I used to go to Toys R Us to see what NECA figures they'd released that were based on horror movies, like I'd visit the video game section, it was kind of depressing. Toys R Us wasn't what it used to be. When I was a kid, I could find anything I could imagine at Toys R Us. Like Toys R Us used to have as good as a collection as like GameStop would. Even GameStop selection is really bad now. At least a GameStop near me. Like they're about on par with Target. The one closer to my apartment in the city has a better selection, but it's hit or miss. Depends what kind of games you like to play. Remember going to KB Toys when I got a Sega CD and they were liquidating their stuff. I was able to get a copy of Snatcher, which is like one of the rarest games, one of the most sought after rarest games. And I got it for like $15. I was so lucky. Oh, interested. I forgot about Showbiz Pizza. For some reason, that reminded me of PC's Pizza and how it was like only $1.99, like when I was a kid, and now it's. I don't even know if they're open anymore, but I remember last time it was like quite expensive. I remember people saying how gross Chuck E. Cheese's pizza was, but I know as a kid I actually liked it. I also remember running out of coins and putting my hand under the dirty arcade machines and finding quite a bit of coins doing it, but still, that's pretty gross. They had a lot of good arcade machines back then. So we used to have a 25-cent like arcade at our mall, and it was packed. Like we had like a small arcade in the mall now, but it was mostly ticket machines. It wasn't the same thing, and nothing was just 25 cents. The Chuck E. Cheese ones were pretty creepy, especially if they didn't work on them. I've only been to Chuck E. Cheese. I'm sure it's way different now. Remember Chuck E. Cheese had that Jurassic Park ride with the subwoofer in the seat? I used to love that shit. It used to make it feel like the ride was bumpy. Just went to wherever anyone took me. Remember on the commercials, Chuck E. Cheese had all these rides? Remember they had a really shallow ball pit? They didn't have anything like they had in the commercials. Alright, these turns look like a nightmare. I'm sure most people have better pizza. I don't know why I liked it if everybody said it was bad. Probably wouldn't like it now because I know I don't even like Pizza Hut or Papa John's that much, to be honest. I haven't had Domino's enough to make a choice, especially since they changed their recipe. I don't know how much that's saying. Would they blink or something? Barks saying come out of their mouth. No, they were never that bad at Chuck E. Cheese, but they look pretty primitive as far as what they could do. Yeah, they had the same dude that, like, I think he ran on Atari, if I remember correctly. I just never got a chance to go. I probably love it as a kid. But I still at least be interested to watch on a replay if I do well. Yeah, I don't want to do this long ass race again. Okay. Okay, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. I will too. I'm just waiting for this race to end. All right, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm getting off too. Now that it just ended. All right. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone has a good rest of your morning/night. All right, bye.